Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan. It's good to be back in Chicago, and I'm here representing Gene Technologies. Gene is software that helps us understand ourselves. And it sounds like that's a big feat, because it is, but I hope that I can prove through this presentation that this is the first time in history that we can actually accomplish this with software. A bit about my background is I'm from Illinois, went to University of Illinois, did some machine learning stuff, went to work at investment banking at Silicon Valley Bank. You can imagine how that story ends. And was recently the chief of staff at Shaper Capital, where we built 6 companies from the ground up, and now presenting Gene. But the two main points I want to start before we getting into the product are that I want to really be clear that LLMs fundamentally understand the world through text. And I think that's something that we should really think deeply about. And then these models understand patterns of human thought and understand us through our data. So this was I don't do a lot of these events, but the one event that I did do was a GenAI Collect event at Stanford Law School. That's why I kind of knew about this organization. And this was the slide that I started out with at the time. At the time, I actually felt like kind of like a heretic, because I was saying these things. Basically, the point I wanted to say was, the true innovation of AI was its understanding of the world. A lot of the companies there were doing kind of document automation, redlining, agentic workflows, and I think that's very important and very interesting, but it's mostly an extension of 2010 software. And then I think as we enter 2025 and the intelligence age, I really want to push us to think a lot bigger about what it means to be a technologist. And then on the second point I wanted to talk about is these models really understand the world, they understand concepts. So they understand what DNA is. So there's research coming out of Anthropic. If you spike the activation level or the lever of DNA, or text starts turning into genetic code. Similarly, they start to detect personality features. So this is kind of a funny thing, but they've detected kind of sycophancy or evil. It's yes, O Master, your wisdom is unquestionable, in order to kind of prevent these things in the future we're entering. But similarly, it can detect curiosity or anger, and it can help you understand different features of the millions of features that exist about your personality. Now, I found this out almost by accident. So I'm someone who writes a lot, trying to understand the world, think about myself, understand who I am in this world. And I embedded all of these essays, essentially turned them into mathematics. And you see similar ideas, clusters, similar beliefs, similar ideas. And I thought that was kind of crazy at the time, and it kind of was a seed that planted all this interest. But this is really important. So I really want to push this, that we struggle to understand ourselves as human beings. It's something, the most persistent pain point of human history. Socrates tells us that to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. Pascal tells us that most of man's problems stem from his inability to sit in his room alone. And businesses struggle to understand people too. They want to know how to provide better experiences, how to personalize their products better. I think we can solve both of these. So in the spirit of being back in Chicago, so 2 notable Chicagoans, very different personalities, but strong personalities regardless. You can imagine they might date different people. They might have different personalities. One might even have multiple personalities. And on the business side as well, you would recommend them different products based on the data, the written data they can find in their Instagram or their X or their Substack, whatever. And the only thing that probably is a commonality is they might both want to be the president of the United States. So this was the first kind of project that we had done, and the goal was to take your writing, ingest it, decode it, and understand your personality from it. And we found that you can do this. It was pretty interesting. You can see the type of themes that you run to as an author, what makes you different, what the personality you have is. And that was kind of very interesting from the B2C level. So how do I understand myself as a person? And then in 2025, we're going to launch an e-commerce application that essentially provides us for one of the 33 million e-commerce stores, where instead of a simple recommendation system, which is kind of out of date in the new age we're entering, absolute personalization, understands you holistically, not just pattern matching based on what you've bought in the past. So Gene is software that helps us understand ourselves, and I think it's a really important time in history. And if you're a business that wants to understand your users better, please reach out.